Tim Kanak with Perkins Roofing here, and today we're going to talk about gutters and where they need to go when you're putting them on a house and why they are crucial and a crucial structural part of any home. So we're going to talk first about this home that we're going to be working on here today. You can see here, these are eaves. This up here and up here are all eaves, which we talk about eaves in my YouTube video, Parts of a Roof, if you want to learn more. Now you can see they're not connected. So what we're gonna have when we run this gutter section here is gonna be a little drop tube, which is the little section that's cut out of the bottom of the gutter so that water can drop down. Usually you would have a downspout there, but since this is gonna drop down from this section here into this section here, we would just have a drop tube. Now, downspouts. An important thing about downspouts that a lot of people don't know is that you need to run a downspout every 50 feet of gutter run per Florida code. So every 50 feet, this is more than 50 feet right here, this eave, you have to run at least one downspout. So we're going to be running a downspout probably right here at the front of the home, before the window and before the little decoration on the side, and then also probably one on the back, which, if you'll bear with me here, is going to be probably either right here on this corner and running down that pole. That looks like a good spot for a downspout. And then this section here in the back, it's a big L here. You can see it's a big L. That's definitely more than 50 feet as well. So we'll have the one right here on this pole. And then we'll probably have another one here, either on that pole or on the back wall right there before we circle around. And I know, looking at this home, when it rains, a ton of water is going to come off that spot right there where the valley is. Usually when you have an inside corner here in a valley, all this water that's going to hit this roof is going to run to that valley. Not all of it, a lot of it is going to hit that valley and splash straight down there. So we're going to need what's called the splash guard, which is like a little 3x3 inside corner spot that goes a little higher to catch all the water. And to talk about the gutter types, usually for a home with a 4 or 5-on-12 roof, this is a 5-on-12 roof behind me, we're going to use a 6-inch gutter. You can get away with using a 5-inch gutter if you have a 3-on-12 sloped home, but usually we use 6-inch gutters as our beginner, and then a 7-inch gutter for larger homes. So the size of the gutter is going to be dependent on the size of the space that the water is hitting. Because if you think about the physics behind it, a lot of people don't think about it. They're like, why would I even put gutters? Because when I walk out of my door, it's still going to rain on me when I leave. Yes, it's going to rain on you once you leave the cover, but because of the size of this roof, all this water that's hitting the roof is accumulating water, and it's going to shed down like a curtain, like a waterfall off the eave of the roof. That's why you want your gutters. If you don't have gutters, you can do some serious damage to the home, which I'll show you in a second. This home does have some damage to the foundation of the home because there are currently no gutters on the home. See, we'll come around back here now, and it's very important to put splash guards in the corners of the chimney. And then we also want to cover our AC and our pool equipment. Looks like there's no pool yet. It's just like a water filter for well water. It's a well one. But here, this air conditioning unit, every time it rains, water's going to pour off this roof and dump straight into the air conditioning machine. That is going to prematurely cause rust to the inside of the equipment. This looks like newer equipment, but you can actually see a bunch of stuff stuck in there, most likely from water pouring off the side of the roof. So here on this side, we have another big edge, and the gutters also, another important note, protect the fascia wood from damage. Most fascia wood is in South Florida is going to be termite damage, but when you have water intrusion damage, it's either an eave roof leak, like a roof leak right on the edge of the roof, or it's from not having gutters, and too much water hitting this fascia board. You can see this fascia board's actually angled in, which is good. A lot of fascia board is just 90 degrees coming down. So that is another important reason to put gutters. And like right here, here's another valley behind me. I know a ton of water is gonna come off this point right here of this home because of that valley. And we'll look at this house too on an overhead so you can see, but there's a lot of eaves on this home. A lot of times you'll have eaves, which need gutters, and then rakes, which you do not need to put a gutter on a rake. So even the guest house behind me is almost all eaves. There's a lot of linear footage of gutter on this home. There isn't a lot of rakes. So if you have a gable roof where there's a rake, you would not need a gutter. But all these eaves here, if you can see where my finger's going, these are all eaves. They should all have gutters on them. A rake would be like an angle. I'm trying to do this while looking at the phone. Is that if you had a rake coming off, you would not need a gutter on that because water's not going to come off the side of a rake. And now let's look at the water damage that I was talking about can be caused by not having gutters. See the foundation of the home here? How it's dark on the bottom? And we actually have cracks here. This is from all the water that's pouring off this side of the house. You see these cracks down here? And it's all caused from water pouring off the side of the home and then coming back toward the home. So if you don't have like a little French drain or something underneath where the water is pouring off to catch the water and push it the other way, water may slope backward toward the home and do damage to the foundation and the base of the home and cause settlement issues. You can see also all this water coming off the house has done some damage to the driveway, the cracking on the driveway. So in an ideal world, the elevation of this home would be perfectly pitched all the way down. But that rarely happens, even when they try. Like at this house when they built it, they tried to do that. You can see the hill behind me. They did a good job on the side of the driveway. But a lot of water gets stuck in here where these trees are and comes back to the house, which is one of the reasons why it's so important to have gutters. It's not just, I don't really care if I walk outside into a curtain of water. That's one thing, but there are structural benefits to adding gutters to the home, like ceasing foundation issues, ceasing air conditioning damage, making sure drainage of water is running to the right spots, especially when we're in Florida and it rains all the time in Florida. It's very necessary to have the gutters in certain locations where you have ACs, where you have bad elevation, and then for ease, for your comfort, you want them by your doors, by your back lounging areas, or by the pool or whatever, so that you don't get a curtain of waterfall when you come off. And also a lot of people like to have them over the garage because some people, they park half in, half out, whatever, of their cars. So you want some gutters over the garage. But important rules to remember is the size of the gutter is dependent on the square footage of the home. You also want inside gutters, splash guards at inside corners, and downspouts should be every 50 feet. So if you this is a good size home, but we're only put 6-inch gutters here. If you have a huge house or a commercial building, that's why we'll recommend 7-inch gutters or box gutters, which are like an industrial commercial sized gutter. This downspouts that are going to be put on here are 3x4. Usually for 7-inch gutters, we put 3x4 downspouts, or 6-inch gutters, 3x4 downspouts. For 7-inch gutters, we'll put 4x5 downspouts, which are a little bit larger. There are a couple different shapes of gutters. There's K-style gutters, and there are box gutters are the most common. K-style are the ones that you usually find on residential homes. Box gutters are the ones that you usually find on commercial buildings. And then the downspouts are usually the corrugated ones. So you'll usually have 3x4 or 4x5 corrugated downspouts for the drainage with elbows that kick out. And then the little piece that you call at the bottom of the elbow is called a splash plate, the little plate that kicks the water away, which are usually not included. If you want splash plates, those are usually extra. If you have a flat roof and you need downspouts because you have overflow scuppers that pop out of the sides, then usually you need a conductor head as well. Conductor heads cost a little more money. Those are the big boxes on the top of the downspouts that catch the water and push it down the chute. And I'll show you some of the colors as well that we have available for gutters. There are a lot of choices for gutter colors, and we'll look at an overhead of this house and see these gutters being installed. Something to keep in mind is you always want to tuck your gutters underneath the drip metal. So right here is our drip metal. We want to tuck our gutters behind the drip metal. You see we have a 1x2 wood nailer, which is very good. Most homes should have 1x2s if they were built recently. We do recommend putting a 1x2 wood nailer. Some cities in South Florida require you to put a 1x2 when you're re-roofing. But here at the drip metal, we want to tuck the gutter behind the drip metal. The drip metal should be coming over the back side of the gutter so that water can come in through. And a lot of times I see the mistake of people installing gutters and spiking it through the drip metal. It's much better to install the gutters through the fascia wood and underneath. And you tuck the hangers underneath the drip metal because you can damage the drip metal and cause roof leaks by putting the gutters that high up. So some important notes that we'll go over once we get started rolling here. I got here early so I could start this video, and we'll see you in a minute. Here's a sample of some of the colors that we can install. Gutters. We have low gloss white, got like a clay, a sand, got copper tone, which is what we're installing on this house. You'll see how that looks. This is like pre-patinaed copper. Bronze, which is like kind of like dark. It's not really brown, it's more like a lead graphite type look. Oh, there's clay. Blue, which is kind of like a darker blue, like a nice navyish blue. Tuxedo gray, which is a darker gray, like a soup. That's tuxedo. Here's terratone, which is like an earth tone, like a darker earth tone. I'm trying to move it in the light so you can see. It's kind of like a darker grayish brown. Here's Sandcastle, which is beige. Red. It's like fire engine red, kind of. Pearl gray, which is like a light gray. There's a few different lighter grays. You can see that they go down. See, here's another one, Colonial gray, which is lighter and more like closer to white than the pearl gray. Pearl gray is more like standard gray. Then here we have Linen, which is like an off-white. Musket brown, which I like a lot. It's kind of like an espresso, the musket brown. Here we have black, which is just standard black. Ivory, which is a little darker than some of the other tans. And there's high gloss white, which is just super shiny white. So there's high gloss and low gloss. You can see the reflection at the window. Super high gloss. Green, which is more like a forest green. Dark gray. See, it's darker than the other gray, the pearl gray I was showing you. Here's cream. And almost done now. We've got Royal Brown, which is more like a milk chocolate, whereas the musket brown is like a dark chocolate. And last but not least, we have almond.
Small.
Yeah, see, now that I'm up here, you can see this is the best way to install the gutters. It's not putting the hangers through the drip metal, but underneath the drip metal. You see the gutter hangers here under the drip metal, and the gutter is tucked in under the drip metal, so the water, when it hits the roof, it's going to come straight down into the gutter. So this is what a 6-inch K-style is. This is the design of the K-style. You can see behind me, it's got like these little grooves here. You look that up online. A box gutter is just a big box. It doesn't have the little grooves here that you see in a normal gutter. And then the inside, these are seamless gutters. The only seams are going to be on the corners, and on these corners they're going to get sealed. So there's going to be a gutter sealant on the ends in here. The guys are finishing up on the install. You can see behind me we have our downspouts installed now, and you see these are called elbows that kick out. So the gutters catch the water that are coming off of the roof. You have your downspout here. This is the downspout where the water actually drains down to the ground level. This right here is an elbow, and you see you almost always need one of those when you have these overhangs here. Almost every roof has an overhang. So it's going to curl down, and then we're shooting the water out in the direction to run downhill away from the home. That's what's so important, is we want the water to run away from the foundation of the home. This one too, you see the elbow curling up, coming out, attaching to the wall, and then kicking down the hill. So we're trying to get that water out away from the home. You can see this gutter runs all the way, and on this back home part of the home here, we've got 2 downspouts on each side to catch these long runs on the front and back. Else you can do too is underneath the elbows you can put what's called a splash plate or a kick plate. It'll make the water kind of splash out. When the water hits, it's not going to just sink down into the grass and you'll get like a weird spot. It'll hit the kick plate and shoot out and kind of disperse into the yard. That's not usually something that's included when you do gutters, adding the splash plate or the kick plate. You can get it added, or you could just go to Home Depot on your own. They sell them at Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever, and you can buy as many as you need. The thing though is when you add those, you're definitely going to be killing the grass because it's not going to get any sunlight where that thing sits. You're going to see behind me, now we have the gutter sealant in the corners. And these are seamless gutters. They get shot out in long pieces. You can see when they're shooting them out of the machine in the back. And these seamless, this is one big piece right here. This whole thing is seamless. It's not 10-foot sections like you buy at Home Depot. So the only spots where there's seams are at the corners there. So you can see gutters come in all different shapes and sizes. This residential K-style 6-inch is pretty standard. But for residentials, you'll have 5, 6, 7-inch seamless are about right. There are also custom gutter sizes for larger gutters that you can have. Like if you have tiles, usually they'll have an overhang. Well, they'll come off the eave. You see the shingles come straight to the drip, but the tiles come off the eave. So you may need larger gutters, especially the old style tiles. Basically, I think it was before 2005, the tiles had a 3-inch overhang, so they'd come off the roof 3 inches, whereas now they're 1.5 inch. So that 6-inch works pretty well with the tiles now. Unless you have an extreme slope, then you might have to go with the 7-inch gutters. Just so you can understand, shingles, usually you'll go, if you have a 3 on 12 slope, maybe you'll go 5-inch gutters. Then 4 or 5 on 12, you'll do 6-inch gutters. And then if this was a higher slope, because this is 5 on 12, if this was like 8 on 12 or something, then maybe I would do like 7-inch gutters. And you can see the splash guard right there on the corner that I had mentioned. That splash guard is going to help protect water that travels down from the valley from splashing out the corner right there, which it will if you don't put the splash guard. So if you have any questions about gutters, what gutters you should have installed in your home, where the gutter should be located, which are the roof eaves, it's better to put them around the house, the entire house if you can, on all roof eaves. But I understand some people don't want to spend the money to do that. But like this house here, see, we've got gutters on every single roof eave. It's much better to protect the home from damages to the foundation like you saw earlier in the video. So if you have any questions, you can reach us. You can call us if you're calling for very South Florida, Dade, Broward, or Monroe counties. Call 305-MIA-ROOF. If you're calling for Palm Beach County, Martin County, or St. Lucie County, a little further up north, then you can reach us at 561-559-ROOF. That's our phone number for up here. You can find us on Google as well. If you have any questions, give us a call or comment on the YouTube video. If you're not in South Florida and you just need some help, we're always happy to help. Thanks for watching. As always, check us out on perkinsroofing.net. Check out our YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you enjoyed the video. We have a bunch of other videos related to gutters, roofing, waterproofings, coatings that may assist you. Thanks for watching.